Hey, everybody. Welcome. Let's see who all is here. Gina's here from New York, Linda from New York, Lee, hi from Indiana, Joyce is here from Mesa, Lynn, Wisconsin, our neighbors. Lori is from Southeast Arizona. That would be Tucson, right? Tucson is Southeast, right? Yeah, I thought so. Lee is here from Lee's here twice from Indiana. Hello, my friend Regina. Oh, she is here all the way from North Georgia. Anne is here from Providence Forge, Virginia. Ruth Ellen, hi, so nice to see you again. Linda, my fellow Michigander, is here. Oh, Ken is getting a hi from Linda, too. Oh, Lori says you are having a very windy day. You know what? I think we got probably today or tomorrow is going to be the last nice day of this year. Windy in El Paso. Hi, Linda. And Evelyn is here too from New Haven. Well, we've got some fun tonight. Hi, Michelle from Illinois, neighbors to the southwest of us. Um, One thing I want to say now, I'm going to repeat it throughout tonight's broadcast tomorrow morning as well. Um, ah, very goodly. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, we are going to do something a little special next week. Um, my friend asked me, or asked, I shouldn't say asked me, she asked for assistance on Westerly by me in how in the world do you do a big quilt, right? We always show you guys on quilt sandwiches and samples and small things and quilt as you go. And that's true. We do show you on those things, mainly because we're just doing samples for you. Hi, Becky. Nice to see you. Sandy made it in from Tampa, and Jan is here from Southeast Nebraska. Oh, you're welcome, Regina. So what we decided we're going to do is next Tuesday evening and next Wednesday morning, I am going to get a full-size quilt somewhere. I don't have one put together, but I may be able to get one put together by then. I mean, I have quilt tops, so I may be able to sandwich it together. And I kind of like to show you some of the ins and outs of working on a small machine like this. This is a Singer 301. It's only got a 7-inch throat in it. Hi, Mary. Mary is our neighbor to the north. Um, and so I have done a queen size quilt on this particular machine. And I just want to kind of catch you guys up to date on some little tricks and tips that I found that made it just a little easier for me. The other thing is get your shoulders in shape because there is a lot of moving around. Oh, good, Jean. I'm glad you're looking forward to it. Hi, Maureen. Yeah, thank you, Linda. It is a good idea, and I'm glad someone asked so we can deliver. Okay, not a problem. Tonight, however, we're going to talk about simple ovals. Okay, Rosellen said it would be nice to learn to use a suspension system. I am sure would help with the weight of the quilt. And it does, Rosellen. It really does. And yes, I do have one, and I will be happy to show you how I use it. Don't forget to hit the like, Anne said. Thank you, Anne. Oh, Diane's here from Queensland. Good morning over there. Or is it? It's about lunchtime, I guess, for you guys. So back to tonight, we're going to do some simple ovals. A simple ovals is a 3 template set, but it's actually a 6 template set. And why I say that is because each one gives us the inner oval as well as the outer oval. So we've got two different sizes here, and I'm going to show you that in just a little bit, okay? Um, we have a 1 inch by 2 inch here. And what that means is from widest edge to widest edge, right here is 1 inch. Tallest to tallest is 2 inches. Okay. Now, BJ Drew just came in from New Jersey. Good evening. Um, with the weight, oh, that's a good question, Regina. I have not used the weightless quilter. Okay. I have seen it, but I have never used it. And Lee, you're right. A lot of people have the PVC pipe bungee cords and clamps. And anytime you can get the weight of those quilts off the table, it's helpful. Okay, so back to the 1 inch by 2 inch oval. Now, if we look at this one, what we know is from here to here is 1 1/4 inches, right? And it has to be 1 1/4 of an inch for it to be a 1 inch finished oval. So let me pull out a little ruler here and just kind of show you what I'm talking about. When we hold up our ovals, and that ruler just doesn't show up well. Let's do this one. It shows up so much better. Okay, so if we put the center oval on a line here, we're going to line up that center line with the crosshair there. What we're going to notice is from here to here is 1 inch. We have 1/4 of an inch on this side and 1/4 of an inch on this side because we need that for our foot. So the cutout is going to be a total of 1.5 inches. And if I bring it over like this, you'll see here's the beginning, here's the end. So if we add 1/4 of an inch here and 1/4 of an inch here, what we're going to get is 2 inches wide. Okay, so it will be 2 inches wide. And let's take a look at how tall it's going to be. It's going to be 1, 2 and 1/4 and 1/2. So it's going to be 2.5 inches tall by 2 inches wide. Okay, so it does give you twice the bang for your buck. And that is our simple oval 1 by 2 inch. And then we have a 1.5 by 3 inch. And the same applies for the cutout. We're going to add 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to move these out of the way here a little bit. And then we have the 2 inch by 4 inch simple oval, 2 inches and 4 inches up and down. And again, this insert will work the same way. So some of you have probably seen this design that I want to show you first. And the design is going to be a design that we would use maybe for a sashing or for a border. Hi, Di. Nice to see you. Deb is here. Willie, hi. So nice to see you. Donna's here. Okay. Linda, yeah, we're going to talk about puddling. I know it's kind of a weird thing to do. Hi, Kathy, and Patricia's here. And Robert is here from Ohio. Wouldn't it be great if all templates came with the cutouts? Oh, die. I like your thinking. Most definitely. We could really make some cool designs if we did that. So, this design that I'm going to show you is basically this design that we did with our simple circles, only this time we're going to do it with ovals and just make it a little taller. Okay. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Linda, another Michigander. So nice to see you guys.
Let's see that Linda Lee, well, I mean, Leela's comment about her hubby made.
Yeah, I did. He made a suspension system with bungee cords and clamps
PVC pipe.
and PVC pipe. Yep. And those are nice. Those are nice too, but we don't all have hubbies who are that handy. Okay, so let's take a look at this design. And I've done it one way here. And as we pull it out here, I'm going to show you another way to make it twice as big. So what we've done with this design is we've used all three of the templates. The middle size template, I'm going to set aside for now. Okay. This is, we're going to use Papa Bear and Mama Bear, or Papa Bear and Baby Bear, and we're going to let Mama Bear have a rest because she usually needs a rest, right? So, what I'm going to do is to start the design. I am going to put one of the large templates, one of the small templates, one of the large templates, and so next we're going to put one of the small templates. And we are going to line them up in a row. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around because I want y'all to see really well. This was a large one, so we're going to come down here and it looks like my thread might have pulled out a little bit. No worries. I'm going to go ahead and just put that back in there. And I'm just going to finish stitching it down to the center line. And I can use this just to keep me on the straight and narrow here. There we go. And I will turn you this way because it is so much easier for you to see, okay? Here we go. Whoops. Okay, I didn't do such a good trimming job there. I had one of those days today where nothing worked out for me. So I can see this going south fast. Okay, so here's the smallest template. Remember, going around ovals or circles, we're going to stitch smaller. Now remember I said we were going to do this a little bigger. We're going to stitch the entire oval and a half. We have to stitch another half to get over to the other side because we're moving towards the left, towards my left. So we're going to go ahead, take the gate out. Now we are going to put the largest one on. And I know there's going to be a few of you out there who are going to remember this looks a little familiar to you. Okay, so now we're going to go. This was in a clockwise direction, so this one will go in a counterclockwise direction. And again, keeping those stitches just a little bit smaller and taking our time. Those are the two things that I really feel makes circles, ovals, circles on quilts, and so many of our templates look just fabulous when we're done with them. We don't need to rush through. I found out today, I had a class earlier today, and I was rushing through at the end just to get it done. And it was one frustration after another. And finally, I just said, okay, take a deep breath. Remember, this will get done. If it takes 5 minutes longer, it's not the end of the world. And once I did that, I was able to calm myself down enough to let the frustration leave. And once it was gone, everything just started falling into place so nicely. Okay, so now I'm going to take a small one. This was counterclockwise. This was clockwise. So again, we're going to go counterclockwise. Or for the Australians that are in the house, anti-clockwise. Oh, Maureen, I already said hi to you. Yep, I made my own suspension system. Wasn't going to wait forever for the husband to get around to it. Yeah, some of them are like that, aren't they?
Quilting. Whittling quilt.
Huddling a quilt. We're going to learn how to do that next week. Yeah. Oh, Becky said she makes a great border. Never thought of doing this. Yeah, this is what I really like about it. Yep. Okay, Joyce, awesome to hear that you've been practicing with the sampler set. There's so much we could do with that. And Judy is here from Greenleaf, Wisconsin. Kathy's going through her scrap bins and she realizes she has a serious problem. Hmm, should we ask what that problem is, Kathy? Or should we just let our imaginations run wild?
Oh, Grady.
Jan says, Kathy, Iron Mountain is only 703 miles away. I could still make the featherweight auction on Saturday. Oh, Jan, don't tempt me. She showed me some pictures of an auction that's happening out by her with a ton of um, vintage machines and so much fabric. I've never seen that much in one place for a private collection, and they're auctioning it all off this weekend. Oh, how I would love, love, love to be there. But my pocketbook is screaming, don't do it, don't do it, don't do
Think about it.
it. Yeah, especially because I have to pick up one machine from getting fixed and drop another one off for repairs. And that gets a little pricey sometimes. Okay, so there is my small one done in the counterclockwise or anti-clockwise direction. Can we get another? Yeah, we could get another one on. Sometimes we get tight like this. And let me show you one of the best things you can do to make sure that you can get around without having any problems. I just take another quilt square or whatever I have handy and make sure that my staple tape touches it, which it's doing right now. And this way I have a place to rest that left hand without it being awkward. And it will sometimes kind of stick on the top of the table if your hand is like mine and might be just a little bit sweaty. We don't want that. Okay, so here we go. This is going to be my last large one. And I just came off a little bit because I looked at the clock to make sure we were running on time. See, I told you guys, every time I look at a clock, I get off of my template or when I look away from what I'm doing. So yeah, we should be paying attention to what we're doing instead of other stuff. Okay, so there we go. Now, if I wanted to, that would be easy to pull out. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead and break thread. Now, if you wanted to, you could use this as an edge to edge pattern and it would work really nicely. What I would do is just on my next row, I would make the large oval come up and meet the small oval. I'll show you how I would do that, okay? So this is our row 1. Now we're going to put our second row in there, but we need to make a mark first. And going to be here, and it's going to be here. Okay, this mark is 1 inch in because this oval is 2 inches wide. This mark is a really bad half inch. There we go. That's a better half inch because this oval is 1 inch wide. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to line up the center of my vertical center here, and I'm going to pull my thread up, and you'll see it's quite a ways away, but it's supposed to be. Okay, put it back down, make sure I'm lined up, and this time I am going to go um counterclockwise. No, I'm gonna go clockwise. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna go clockwise. Sometimes you gotta think about which way you're going and what exactly you want to happen when you get there. And here we go. Get rid of that. Ovals can do a lot of really neat things. I just think this one is so cool. And like I said, this would make a great edge to edge design. When I do a quilt like this and I'm doing an edge to edge design like this, marking is the most important step of the process. Okay. Then what I like to do is I do like to start in the center of the quilt and work my way out. And the reason that I do that is not so much because I want to make sure that all of my fabric shifts out from the center. It's, oops, here, wrong line. It's more because I want to make sure that I've got the smallest or the biggest part is not the entire quilt in the throat of the machine. Okay, so here's our small one again. Now we're doing the same thing we did over here, except we're making the whole oval instead of half of it. And boy, I envy you all who have the needle guides instead of the games. Wow. Okay, so once you get these first two, you really shouldn't have to line up every single oval. Things should fall into place. Okay, so this is a counterclockwise. And then we're going to do one more small. I'm sorry, you're right, Ken. This is clockwise. It's the small one that's counterclockwise. They keep him around for a reason. See? Oh, he's good at keeping me on the straight and narrow. What can I say? Okay, and we'll do the last oval here. Know there's been a lot of talk lately about edge to edge quilting, and I think it's good. We can do so many different things with our rulers, and I'm glad that we're kind of spreading our wings and trying out different things. Okay, that was clockwise. This one is counterclockwise. Now, again, this is our last one, so we do not need to go halfway around, but I like to do it for the sake of consistency. I just like things to be consistent when I'm working here because if you put 2 or more layers of thread down, you're not gonna your eye can't discern that. But if you have 1 layer of thread down and 2 layers of thread in the other ones, your eye's going to pick that up. Now look at how cool it would be just like that, from one edge to the other. Isn't that neat? But we're not done yet. Now we're gonna use the mama size, okay? And I'm going to put it in here. Make sure I've got it the right size. I'm lining up my horizontal line and I'm lining up my vertical line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this horizontal or this rotation down to the horizontal center here. Somehow or another, it got pulled out a little bit. That's okay though. There we go. I I just realized today that it is the end of October already. Okay, there we go. Take a couple extra stitches there. And we'll go ahead and clip this thread off so you can see well. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line up the middle size. And again, I'm going to go around. Now I'm going to, you'll notice I've got 2 heavier lines of stitching towards me. This time I will put that line of stitching away from me. There we go. So I'm going to go in a clockwise direction. I've got my counterclockwise direction. Thank you, Ken. Boy, I'm backwards tonight. Okay, there we go. I'm also getting off of my template a little bit here. Good thing it's just practice, right? But this is why we practice. Now I'm going to stop at the horizontal center right there. And now I'm just going to slide my template to the left. And this time I'm going in a clockwise direction. And what I like about this is a little bit of cross hatching that happens in the design. There we go. We're going to come up and we're going to stop here on that horizontal center. Just slide our template down. And around we're going to go again. I got it a little off that time. That's okay. Gonna come all the way to our horizontal center. One more stitch. There we go. Oh, I want to go this way. Okay. Now, I did that on purpose, and what I did was I went the wrong way. Where I want my double line of stitching to be is down here. It's not a problem though, because it doesn't matter which side you travel back on. It's going to work the same as long as you do not move the templates. And there we go.
Warren Wagner wants to know when you double stitch, does it pull your fabric in more than just a single?
Oh, that's a really good question, Maureen. My thought on that is that everything tells me it should, because we do end up getting drawn in for every stitch we put in. But I have really never tried to prove it. So, what might be a good idea is to take a scrap sandwich like this, just draw or just go ahead and stitch several of the circles or ovals, and then come over here and stitch double on every one. And you'll know by measuring from one edge to the other how much draw that you have.
Joyce Clinker makes a good point.
Okay, Joyce said, and we're going to show everybody. Joyce said she was having difficulty making designs come out nicely until she heard you say, don't push the foot into the template and don't push the template to the foot. Suddenly it was so much easier to do. Joyce, you just made my heart smile. I really appreciate that, because I do say that so often, and it is something that we all do. I even occasionally still find myself doing it if I'm in a spot and want it to go further over. You know what? Pushing it into that template is not going to make it go any further. So yeah, it's one of those things that it's just helpful to not do that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Jeannie's here from Erie, PA. Lorna is here too. She's late and watching later. Nancy's here from Victoria, Australia. Okay. Oh, Kathy, you know what? Kathy says, go crazy.
Jan Brady.
Go crazy envisioning scraps and yardage gone totally too much overboard. I will never live long enough to make a dent. Kathy, I'm right there with you. I trust me, I am.
Jan.
And Jan says, again, why did you do the mama oval last? Could you have not just done them in order? Good question, Jan. Well, Linda Vance, how are you? My goodness, it's been way too long since we've seen you. Okay, the reason that I did it in that order was because it helped me to make sure that I was making this cross hatching properly. It's a lot easier to go a large and a small, a large and a small, than it is to do the large, the medium, the small, and then move over. Okay. So could you do it the other way? Yeah, you could. I just I found, Jan, it was just easier for me. If it works easier for you to do the other way, please, by all means, go for it. You know, I'm not one to say it's my way or the highway. Kathy Lisa, she said Kathy's not alone, and she's not at all. Brenda, fellow Michigander, welcome. Okay, so now that we've seen that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do one quick row here of, well, actually, I'm going to do it on this one. I've got more fabric here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we can nest them to make a really pretty edge to edge design. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the large one. a small one, a large one, and a small one. And I need to make sure that I've drawn this out correctly. Okay. No, I haven't. So I'm going to need to just take another piece of fabric. Always keep a few extras here because you just never know, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make some marks. Going to be easy marks. You know, I've broken this pencil at least 3 times tonight already. Okay, so let's go ahead and start here. And this is just an arbitrary place. It's nothing special about it. It's just to show you guys. Okay, so here's my halfway. This is going to be 4 inches tall. So we want to go ahead and mark out that 4-inch height. And I'm going to mark out the 4-inch height with dashes. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's a dash. Now the other one is going to be 2 inches high. That's the small one. All I have to do, there she is. Okay. Now this is going to be 2 inches high. So we're going to come down 1 inch. And I'm going to make these in the long dashes. What's really kind of cool is if you're using the light color fabric, you can use your friction pans and make them all color coded. That would be kind of cool. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull our thread up. I'm not going to make my vertical marks yet. I don't have to. Notice I'm starting at the left even though I'm going to be working toward the right. And the reason that I'm going to be doing that is because, again, I want to keep that one side or the other with the double stitching. Okay, there we go. Oops. And find my foot. And again, keeping those stitches small. Don't push against the template and don't push the template against the foot. We know that's good information. Okay, I just came off the template because my hands are kind of cattywampus around this camera. So I'm going to try and move them to a more comfortable spot. There we go. All the way around. You'll see that we came up perfectly on that lower line that we put in. I got a couple wobbles here, not worrying about it. This is practice. And we're going to stop here on our horizontal center. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my littlest one and let's get it in there the right way because otherwise it won't work. And on this one, we're going to do counterclockwise. And again, this lined up perfectly on that horizontal line we put in I have to keep adjusting this foot. Okay. Good. Oh, yeah, that's much better. And we're gonna come around and stop. There we go. Now we're gonna put the big one back on. Get our money switching templates, aren't we? Keeping those stitches nice and even and a little on the shorter side. Listen to the rhythm of your machine. You're going to notice that when you hit the sweet spot for the perfect stitch, that's when you're going to notice the rhythm of your machine. And that's where you're going to try and hit that rhythm every time. And you will have beautiful stitches each time. If you're first learning, don't worry about your stitch length. I think it's more important when you're first learning to figure out control, how to control the templates and the foot in relation to each other. Don't tense up your hands. You don't need to hold it like you're holding on for dear life. They're not going to go anywhere if you just hold them steady. Your stable tape is really going to do most of the work for you. That's what's really awesome about it. And you don't have to overuse stable tape. Okay. The little pieces that I have here are more than enough to keep everything in place. I like to place my stable tape where I place my hands on the fabric. So I kind of try it out first, put the stable tape on, and then we're ready to go. Okay, so now on this one, I'm going to do something just a little bit different. We're going to go around and I've not tried this before. It's in my brain, but I don't know if it's going to work. So bear with me. If I mess it up, oh, well, we learned something. Okay, I'm going to stop at the center, the vertical center in the lowermost position. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to put on my my 1 inch by 2 inch oval, making sure that it's lined up. I'm going to come around like this. And I'm going to stop on this one when I get to the vertical center, right, or the horizontal center, I'm sorry, right there. Now, all things being equal, this should line up perfectly. So let's get the spacing gauge out. Hi, Kathy from Ontario and Kathy from Long Island. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to take my spacing gauge and I'm going to check it out and I'll be tipped. It turned out perfectly. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's go around. I love it when a plan works out, especially when it wasn't thought out beforehand. Okay, we're gonna come around and we're going to stop at the horizontal center. And right there, now we're going to take the large oval off and put the small one on. In this day and age with modern quilts and modern quilting, I think that this design would be well suited for modern quilts. I didn't measure that and I came down just a hair, but that's okay. Okay, now I'm going to switch back to the big one. Line up that horizontal center. This time I am going to use my spacing gauge. And there it is. Perfect. And here we go. And we'll do one more of the small one. And right there. And then we will have a very nice edge to edge design. That will, look at how fast it's getting stitched in here too. It's really going quickly. Now, if you don't line these up perfectly, like you'll see that I didn't, okay? And what I mean by that, I'm gonna show you here. So what I mean by that is you'll see that these didn't exactly touch here, okay? They are a little, just a little bit off. Don't worry about that. Okay, and the reason you don't have to worry about that is it's never going to show once it's washed. Okay. Now, you could, if you were so inclined, and I think if this was my quilt that I was giving somebody, I probably would be so inclined. After I get this first row done, I would come in and then I would go ahead and set up a grid. And I mean that I would come through and do a vertical center right along here. And from here, you could go down, oops, you could go down 1 inch from the long or the big oval and put a horizontal line in. So by making that grid, and let me see how big that grid would be total. So it would be a 2 inch grid, 2 inches wide and 3 inches tall. And that would help you line everything up exactly the way you need it. So there is it's a simple design. It really is. Don't get me wrong. It's not elaborate. It's not craziness. Hi, Sue from Texas. But it's just it's not going to take away from your piecing. what I call designs like this are designs that we use when we want the piecing to be the star of the quilt. And sometimes that's what we want. Other times we want the ruler work to be the star of the quilt. And that's fine. That's when we're going to get just a little bit more intra, right? I think I said that right. Okay. So let's take a look at using them on a spinning way. Okay, let's find, where did Mama go? Mm, Tippy? Oh, okay. No, wrong dog. There she is. Okay, so we can easily make this into a spinning design, and I'm sure you guys have probably all seen this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the smallest one. And I'm going to do the smallest one on the odd numbered lines. Here is our line number, I'm sorry, our even numbered lines. Here's our line number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and onwards. And this is a 16 reference line crosshair. So let's go ahead and do the small guy right on, and I need to reset my foot. The other one was just a little bit thicker. There we go. We'll take that bobbin thread up right in the center. We'll just probably do half of this. Okay. How you guys doing so far? Okay. Di, you're absolutely right. You can, and that's what I would do. Di says if she draws it out first, then she can put the grid on before she starts sewing, and that is the perfect order in which to do it, Di. It really is. Okay. So, I do a lot of drawing. You guys don't see a lot of it, but I do a lot of drawing. Yeah, those get usually crumpled up and thrown away, but some of them don't. If I come up with something that I feel as though I'm likely not to remember how I did it, I will go ahead and I will fold up the paper and put it in the sleeve with the templates. It's just a great way to refresh your mind when you come back to it. Okay, so here's number 1, and we are doing this on reference line number 2. Just going to come out back in.
Were you bugging? Huh?
Casey, our littlest one, has decided it's time to harass the biggest one to play. Wow.
Come on, Tippy.
Yeah, he really gets her going too. He says, "Okay, I've had enough of behaving here."
And your baby, good puppy. Good puppy. Okay.
Now, remember next week, just this is for you, Ken, we're not going to pull a template out for next week. Because what we're going to do next week is we're going to talk about and do some examples on how we make a full-size quilt inside with our rulers. Yeah.
Okay.
How we use our suspension system to help us keep the weight off of the table. How we make sure that we puddle our fabric instead of trying to keep it. It's kinda like I heard this one time and I laughed at it. I gotta say, this is true, honestly. Somebody said, "Well, have you ever tried to shove a log through the, throat of a sewing machine?" And I went, "There's a lot of truth to that. To roll your quilt and put it through here, that's hard work." So and I don't even remember who it was that said it, and ever since I s did ever since I heard that, then I started puddling my quilts, and it sure makes life a lot easier. But you have to remember, get up, give yourself breaks. Give yourself a lot of breaks. It's hard on the shoulders, it really is. So you want to, don't start doing a full-size quilt if you have to have it done
tomorrow.
tomorrow or for the weekend, okay? Give yourself some grace and some time to do it because it does take time, and you wanna do the best job you can on it. That's why I always joke I'm the slowest guy in the house, really. You know what? It's okay. I'm fine with it. I've always been that way, and I don't foresee me changing. Just a note, the quilt festival is coming up. I think it starts tomorrow or Thursday down in Houston. Is anybody going to be able to get there this year? I know that So Steady will be there. Okay, whoops.
And believe us, if I tried that logging way, it's awful.
Yeah, it is, isn't it, Lee? Okay. Oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this out because I want you to see the whole thing because it looks like an atom. Oh, at least that's what I think. So here it is. That's just it's a beautiful little flower, I think, with the ovals. I love them. So now what I want to do is I want to take the next size up and I just want to do some different things with it. Okay. We're going to play a little here. Well, actually, I'm not going to do that yet. Okay. So what I want to do first, and let me get my stitching line disc. Okay. And get my pencil here. So what I want to do first is I want to see if I can come from this reference line to this reference line with an oval, okay? If I can, how is that going to look? Well, here, if I put my horizontal center line on the basically the tip of both of these are the 1 by 2 inch ovals, and line ourselves up with our vertical center. There we go. Let's see how it's gonna look. Need more lead. Is that a look that we're going for? Yeah, I like that. Let's go ahead and do a couple of those and see how we did. Okay. Get that out the way. Yeah, I really like that. And I'm thinking we could embellish that a little bit too. So I'm going to start at the top here on my even numbered reference line. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my template on. Mhm. Now I'm going to line it up with my vertical line on the vertical center, right here, back here, as well as up here. And my horizontal line is just going to skim the top of these two existing petals. I'll go ahead and hold that thread back just a bit. Take my first stitch in place. And we should end up right at the tip of the next reference line petal. And there we go. That's exactly where we ended up. Let me go ahead and cut this thread and let's do a couple more, okay? Oh, before we move on to do a couple more though, let's go ahead and do some embellishment in here. You guys know my favorite embellishment, right? Tip the template. Tip the template. And I'm going to come all the way over to the edge.
Ruth Ellen wants to know if you wanted to echo, would you use the inside petal?
Good question. Let's go ahead and try it out. Okay. So to do the echo, I'm going to make a clean one right here first. There we go. And get my spacing gauge out. Perfect. So what's going to be interesting about this? If we want to echo, what we would not use is the cutout from the template we just made this half oval with. Reason being is you'll see that it's too big, right? But you could, well, you know what you could do is you could hold it down here and you could get this shape out of it. But that's not a true echo. That looks like live long and prosper. But what we could do, mm, and I'm not sure that would work either. This is the small size. And I was thinking that small size just might work, but it doesn't. So let's try to do the outside or use the inside of the next size to echo. And we're going to make this echo larger. And in order to do that, we actually need to travel on the rotation prior. We're going to come up and we would need to stop where the next one comes up. But right now we don't know where that is. So it probably would be easier to get all of these in first and then echo it.
Charlene says big quilt equals quilt by checkbook.
Yep. um, so yeah, you know what? The echo. Well, Janice, hi. I didn't see you come in. Very late from Mount Vernon, Washington. That's okay. So Ruth Ellen, echoing might be a little bit of a challenge. Time for pencil, paper, and echo discs. You're absolutely right. I wouldn't, we would really need to work these out before we said it could be done one way or another. But I do kind of like this. You'll notice that it's a little wider at the sides and narrower at the top. I think that's quite interesting, actually. It's really interesting. So let's talk about doing an outside, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of stable tape out here because what we want is we definitely want to be sure that I've got a scissors around here somewhere. There they are. So what I want to be sure is that I can hold on to this.
Leave this on.
Okay, Ken is departing us. Doggies have to go outside. So, okay, so you're going to want to make sure that you've got the staple tape on there. Remember one thing, an inside curve is much easier than an outside curve. So when I do outside curves, I slow down. I move my hands a lot, but I never let go of that template. Okay? Even when I'm changing hands, you see how I keep a couple hands on that template at almost all time. Okay, so here we go. All the way around. Whoops, and I did it. I moved it. Okay, no worries. I'm just going to turn my fabric around. I'm going to realign. Soon, there it is. I'm going to realign using my spacing gauge. Our spacing gauge is always going to be our friend and it's never going to steer us wrong. Okay, get it up just a little bit. There we go. And now we should be able to join our line of stitching over here. And I might be just a little off. Or am I? No, actually it was perfect. Okay, there it is. See that, guys? Sometimes I surprise myself. So it even has a little bit of a different oval shape to it, I think. It's a little rounder than the inside. Yeah, yeah, I do too. Oh, Jenny, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Have a good night's sleep. And it is a fat ovally. Kind of looks like my stomach. Whoops. Probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but that's okay. So that is our simple ovals. We can do a lot of neat things with them. I love the fact that they can be used. This would be an awesome border that would go along nicely with this edge to edge design. I really think that would be cool. I like that. It's a great modern look, modern quilt look. So that's what I have for you guys tonight. I could sit here and play with it for a couple hours with you, and I would like to do that, but unfortunately, I need to get some sleep so I can do this again tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning, we are going to meet back here at 8 a.m. Central Time. 6 a.m. Pacific Time, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, and 9 a.m. Eastern Time. That's what it is I'm looking for. Hi, Suzanne. I didn't see you sneak in, did I? So, anyway, tomorrow we are going to be working with Donna McCulley Quilting Wishbones. I know. I thought it was kind of I thought to myself, "How can you make wishbones into a quilting design?" She did it. Donna could do a lot of things. She really did do a lot of things, and I miss her talent very much. So if you happen to be around in the morning, come on over and meet us again next Tuesday and next Wednesday, both. Wednesday morning too. We are going to work on a full-size quilt. We're going to talk about placement, talk about um, suspension system, talk about how to move around, hopefully without getting any puckers or anything. How many of you, just out of curiosity, how many of you still pin? And how many of you use glue based? That's a question that always goes through my mind when I'm talking about doing a quilt. For so many years, all we had was thread basting. Lee does large, she pins. Jeannie pins. Linda spray base for Kathy. Becky, yeah, I know you miss her too. Regina pins. Um, Joyce does both. Evelyn pins. Suzanne said it depends on the project. Sometimes she does both. Spray for Becky's. Yeah, Maureen does both. Spray base for Diane. Pins for Mary. Um, occasionally pins, but mostly sprays. Spray and pin the borders. Now there's one that's a good idea. Glue base, mostly spray, spot, pin. You know, I get that. I really do. Joyce pins, because I always feel like I end up doing both. I'm always worried that the spray based isn't gonna hold good enough. Yeah, spray basting on wall hangings, Lee. I do too. Oh, Jan, yes, there are other templates that you get the insides. The simple circles you get the insides on too. There may be others, but I'm not really sure. I would have to look. But definitely simple circles, you get the insides, Jan. So we'll touch a little on basting next week, but we won't spend a lot of time on it because I think it's more important to spend the time how to just move the quilt around, and hopefully when you do, you won't end up with any puckers or any pleats in the back. Just one thing before I forget about that is when you're putting your quilt sandwich together, your quilt tops, some people call them a flimsy, and then your batting and yeah, your backing pieces, please make sure that the top and the back are well starched. That is what will really help to keep those puckers and pleats away. So yeah, yeah. Anyway, so you did not Lee said that you don't get them anymore unless you order them special for the circles. Well, I didn't know that. I like it. You guys are giving me you give me information I don't know. I think that's wonderful. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I think we'll call it a night, and I'll see you with Wishbones in the morning. And next week, we're going to learn to puddle. So until then, thank you, Lee. You too. Let's quilt.